I was thinking last night, is there a movie? I might be fucking tripping out. Is there a movie where Will Smith is like a golfer and Shia LaBeouf is his caddy? Or am I like fucking like
So Shia LaBeouf is a golfer in The Greatest Game Ever Played. In The Legend of Bagger Vance, Matt Damon is a golfer and his caddy is Will Smith. Yeah, though you conflated those two movies.
but Will Smith and Shia LaBeouf were never in the same movie about golf.
I would watch that movie if it came out next year, though, for
Uh,
sure.
with like right now Will Smith and
Yes,
right
their
now
ages
Shia
currently.
LaBeouf.
Yes, right now.
I finally watched. I finally watched.
I
Finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon, and I finally watched Tin Cup.
So I live in Jacksonville, and this is the week of the Players' Championship. So that's just
And
enough.
I live in Orlando, and this is the week of the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yeah, that starts tomorrow when we're recording. We are getting this out very late. So yeah, next week is TPC. And I've always wanted to do this. I think Kevin Costner is maybe like our most decorated actor athlete, right? Like who does like a ton of these type of movies. I think he has 3 baseball movies and then this. He's a GM in
He,
Draft Day.
but he's like a very all-American guy. It's like this type of stuff and westerns. You could just drop Kevin Costner in, or like, Clark Kent's dad, right? It's like he's very all-American.
And I was thinking, like, as I was watching this, I was like, he's one of those that has like a really good, he's like a star, but I don't necessarily know that he is the strongest actor. But as I was watching it, when you realize like the characters that Kevin Costner plays is usually like the coolest guy, and he is not in this movie. He's kind of a loser.
He's
And I
kind of
think
a lame ass, yeah.
and he does it really well. So it actually kind of like this was a movie that I thought was just going to be like a fun lark. First of all, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I have some cuts. We can get this down to 155, I think, pretty
I
easily.
agree. You could just cut it at the 1 hour and 30 minute marker and just show the US Open. I'd be quite happy.
Did you like that part?
I did like that part. That was the best part of the movie.
It is.
The
So
whole part with Rene Russo, I don't need it. I don't like it. I don't need it, but that's fine.
well, because it's mixing two genres, right? It is a romantic comedy and a sports movie.
Yeah.
Which I think the one that comes to mind is Wimbledon, which is one I talk about a lot. And I'm sure there are other ones, but like it was interesting watching it this time and like analyzing it, being like, oh wow, yeah, this is really just mixing two movies. I think even though I like these scenes, I think you have to cut all of the stripper stuff, even though I like that character. And I think you have to cut the Rene Russo shrink scene because it makes him. I think this is the scene that probably you said he's a little stalkerish.
That's the main scene. There's other scenes that does not really paint his character in the brightest light, but that scene is probably the worst.
And then you have to cut at the end when he goes, I just gave away the US Open. And she's like, who cares? People are going to remember your 12 forever. And people are going to forget who won, but they're always going to remember your 12. They kiss and you cut right there. That's where the movie should end.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't, the Romeo scene is funny with the stripper.
Yeah,
But I
but
don't think,
if you cut the stripper scene in the beginning, that part doesn't make sense. So now you don't need it, right?
and really the stripper is only there to talk to Rene Russo during the golf tournament, but you could have her do that and not have her be in so many other scenes. For example,
No, you could have her do that with one of his buddies that's been throughout the whole fucking movie with us.
but I think they want the like her being an ex and knowing him so well in the same way that Rene Russo is now going to know him.
I actually hate that part of the movie where she's his ex. Like, I find that as the weirdest like character choice of the movie, where it's like, oh, you get your check signed by a stripper who also so happens to be your like that's complicated for me. I don't need
Well,
this in
because
my
if you get
Tin
rid of
Cup
that,
movie.
if you get rid of that, you can also get rid of him selling his clubs and then having to get him back. It is a very, although it is one of my favorite scenes where he's playing with like a baseball bat and lawn tools and beating the shit out of this guy to get $400.
That was great. Yeah, no, that was great.
But the stripper, the part that really like bothers me with the stripper is he tells her, "Hey, I need time off for the US Open," and she says no. And then it has no effect on the rest of the movie. It doesn't come up again.
Let me ask you this. The part that really bothered me about his character, where I think there's a few places in this movie that kind of diminish his character and you like full-heartedly rooting for him.
Okay.
It's at the end where David sees like this hot chick on the sidelines and
Yeah.
he's like, I always have time for a fan. And he's like, come over the rope. And it's this weird, almost feels like a fourth wall break where Kevin Costner's holding Rene Russo, looks directly at camera and goes, hey, David, like something like have fun with the par. And I was like,
I think he
did
said
he,
great
oh,
par.
or yeah, whatever. I was like, did he just kind of call that woman a whore? Like that woman didn't do anything to
You
him.
know, I never took it that way, but you're right. Like it's not calling her a whore. It's
It's
saying
calling
like
her like second fiddle. Like good luck with
yes,
your
like you I
what's
don't
it called?
I've never read it that way. I've never thought he was talking about that.
Oh, I felt I felt
Well, no, now that you brought it up, it does make a lot of sense. Like I do
oh,
agree that
that's what it is. It's almost like him being like, "Hey, congrats for your consolation prize."
like you laid up again in because you
Yeah,
lost the goal. But all right, so there's a couple things I want to run through and then I want to
it's
get
like
to
that
my
woman didn't do anything wrong.
I agree. I want to get to my David Sims take, but first, this is another Warner Brothers movie that's not on Max. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, that sucks. I had to pay fucking $5 for this movie.
Yeah, I gave you your $8 back. The music,
You never owed me $8. Whatever.
the music, very 90s, and it's like honky tonk
Yeah.
bar music until we get to the US Open and it's inspirational sports music.
Well, I found the honky tonk really funny because I think it suffers. It's like enjoyable suffering, but I think it suffers from one of those things where it's like, oh, look at Kevin Costner looking so sad, and Rene Russo like looking at him longingly through the parking lot, and then the song's like, I'm so sad and I just want a girl to love me. I'm like, holy shit, it's
Well, that's
doing it.
country. I mean, that's country music.
Sure.
So, this is my David Sims hot take. First of all, Don Johnson is absolutely the perfect choice for this character. There were two
Yes.
other alternate castings that I'll go over now. First of all,
Oh,
John Leguizamo almost had a chance at the Cheech Marin part as Romeo.
I think you would have done fine.
He would have done fine, but I love Cheech in this.
Yeah,
then you
from
have the
Oliver and Company. What's his name? Tito from Oliver and Company.
he's also Cheech of Cheech and Chong. But I love because he also this is the year that he works with Don Johnson on Nash Bridges, which is a show I watched as a kid and I loved.
Let me ask you about Cheech and Chong. Does it bother you that one of them is his first name and the other one is his last name?
Did I bring this up to you that are like I don't it doesn't bother me. I just find it interesting, but it's also you're not going to have William and Marin,
Or yeah, I
Marin and
get you.
Chong or William and Cheech. It has to be that way. Here's my Don Johnson take, and it's basically like the Karate Kid hot take applied to this. David Sims is not a bad guy in this movie. And most of the time he's actually right. First of all,
I would almost say like David swims?
Sims.
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 I was like, that doesn't sound right. David Sims almost gets like bullied in this movie a little bit.
So he is the bad guy. And I think Don Johnson's ability to play like a smarmy asshole with a shit-eating grin is doing all the work for that.
So
I don't
I don't
think
know who Don Johnson is like off the top of my head, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh my God, what have I seen him in? And I'm like racking my brain, going through his IMDb. I was like, what? I'm like looking at his like past filmography. I'm like, none of these movies seem familiar to me. And then I hit it. And it's Django Unchained, where he plays the racist plantation owner.
and
Not
he's actually
Leo, right?
he's
Not
amazing in it
He's
too.
amazing in it. And I was like, oh, he's like you just hate to kinda look at his face. Like, perfect casting
But
for this.
also one of the children in Knives Out, one of the children slash the dad, like
Shit, motherfucker, you're right, yeah.
so you
Which
clearly
which he's
you started from old and went to that, and once you got to Django, you're like done searching.
yeah, pretty much, but I think it was from, like, most popular, but it's also another swarmy character.
Yeah. So in this, his first part, he comes in and is like, "Hey, I want to give you a job." And there's a misunderstanding. He's like, "No, man, I need you to caddy. I can't have someone off the street, right?" Then at the tournament, he's like, "Hey, if you shoot this shot, you're going to be showing me up. You cannot do. I will have to fire you." And then he follows through on his word. And then his major crime in the movie is dating Renee Russo, which it's not. He didn't steal her from her. He's just dating her.
Well, there's this great running joke, and I wish it was kept a little longer, but I mean, it makes sense on why it was revealed at, like, at the point where it was revealed. But there's this amazing joke throughout the movie where first Kevin Costner says to Rene Russo, he's mean to old people, to children, and dogs. And
Yeah.
then it's brought up again where he's mean to old people, children, and then I think Cheech or someone in the crowd is like, and don't forget dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking mean to dogs. And I was like, I know, right? Because I've watched enough movies to know that we're gonna get a scene set up where he's mean to old. I didn't think it was gonna be back to back to back like that, but I'm glad it was. That he was mean to old people, children, and dogs. But I was hoping like we actually like start liking his character to the point where we were like, oh, maybe everyone is actually wrong about him, and then we're hit with the scene. But
Well, but
we're hit with it a lot earlier, just for Rene Russo's point.
it happens at the US Open, like, in the first round, so it's, like, an hour and 30 minutes into the movie, but he is, like he's dating Renee Russo, he gets, like, goaded into the bed with Kevin Costner, and he beats Kevin Costner by being smart, right? Hitting it to the road so it keeps bouncing, gives Kevin Costner his car back, doesn't have to do that.
Right. Yeah. I like that. I agree with you at that part too. I was like, you know what? He shouldn't have, like, the movie should have been written where he didn't do that, and it would have made him look more slimy.
So then, after the first round, he's talking shit to Kevin Costner, which is a thing guys do. And Rene Russo comes in to defend him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then she's like, "Oh, I bet he can make this shot, whatever." Hits the
Okay.
shot, and then
Yes.
he gives the money up and is like, "Well, clearly I've lost you. No hard feelings. This isn't like whatever, you're a bitch." Just is
Yes.
like, "All right, yeah," and walks away. Then
Right.
the entire final round, he has this begrudging like respect to all the great shots Tin Cup is making. The only bad thing he does is yell at the old person, the child, and the dog. Which, by the way,
Which also is not completely unwarranted too.
they're in the players area. Who are these people?
Yeah, but
They,
also,
they
like,
shouldn't be walked back there, and he's in the middle. He just finished his tournament.
he's absolutely right about, does, like, you're coming into, like, my job, my headspace, and, like, fucking me up, like, why are you here, right? Like, you've seen celebrities have even more, you know, worse crash outs than that. Also, I kinda like how he's, like, hiding the fact that he's smoking to the crowd.
Yeah, for the
Like,
kids.
yeah.
So the old
Oh,
people,
yeah, it's a point against it for him, yeah.
the old people, those are Kevin Costner's parents, and the kid is Kevin Costner's son.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. So my point is, he's not a bad
Is
guy
that
in
Kevin
this.
Costner's dog? Although
I
I
don't
couldn't
know.
imagine Kevin Costner having such, like, a tiny dog.
It's probably his. It's
He
probably his
comes off
mom's
more of
dog.
a, like, a lab man, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, the other two people that could have played the Don Johnson character, David Sims, are Pierce Brosnan
Yeah, but I think it would also change a lot of stuff if he was British too.
and Dennis Quaid.
Dude, okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Back up a second. Dennis Quaid, oh my god, in the same movie?
You
That's kind
think
of
Dennis
amazing.
Quaid and Kevin Costner look alike?
I feel like not only do they kind of, like, look alike, but they also, like, vie for the same roles a lot.
Maybe. I mean, Don Johnson and Kevin Costner don't exactly look totally dissimilar.
No, but Don Johnson is, like,
Probably shorter, I think.
no, yeah, but he plays Swarmy so well. Dennis Quaid is very also, like Costner, very, like, all-American dad sort
Yeah,
of
so
thing.
he would have had to have played the character differently because I don't think he has the Don Johnson ability. to be just an asshole just by the way he smiles, the way he
Oh, right.
yeah,
He
like,
would have
so
to be, like, way more evil in his
so he
intentions.
is absolutely perfect in this part.
Don Johnson?
Yeah, and
You know
he's not
what,
the
though?
bad guy.
Dennis Quaid could have played a hell of a Roy McAvoy.
Yes, yes, he could've,
Yeah.
he could've. So, I think we can get started. I There are so many, like, memorable moments in this. First of all, like, the opening song and the B-roll sets up this life so perfectly for what Kevin Costner's life is. As you're getting the credits rolling, it's got all these different shots of like you know the space now. Like this whole area, you know, and like this is his entire life. You see his Winnebago, you see the driving range, you see all of his friends. Like it's really a well done way to it's like almost exposition in the credits.
It is very, like, movie 101. Like,
But it's just
how do you set up a character so that the audience knows everything you know? Not only do you know everything about him, but, like, you know where he stands as far as, like, his character flaw, and it's like, "Oh, that's another thing about this movie is that," and he says it at the end too, right? Which I agree with you, he should've I don't think this dude changes at all.
he doesn't know. He doesn't. What
Like, it
what did I
I
learn? Romeo actually changes a little bit more than he does.
fucking Rene Russo changes more than he does.
But I also think this is almost like like a treasure hunt movie. Like what he wanted was Rene Russo. He found what he wanted. And
Oh,
then
sure.
like she's like, "Oh, you can go to the US Open next year." And he just smiles like
Nah, he
that's
says.
not even a concern for me.
You
Like
know what
I
this
think
movie is it's written by a man whose, like, ex-wife told him, "You really need to shape up," and he's like, "I'm gonna write a movie about a guy who never shapes up, and it's gonna be awesome."
and he's Kevin Costner, so he's good looking. So, I love
And he's me.
the betting on the bugs thing and then the riddle. One of the things like that's kind of a subtle little through line is that like if you put a bet on it, like Kevin Costner becomes the best golfer ever. Like he's already really good, but if you like bet him he can't do something, then he like he will crush you because he has that porta potty bet where he hits the ball off of it. Renee Russo does the bet and like she realizes it too, so she does the bet in the bar that he can hit the pelican.
Yeah.
So, and he loves to gamble. So the doctor riddle is very funny, and like none of the guys were going to get it. And it's like it is obviously like it's like a feminist thing about you don't think the wife could be the doctor, but it's also just it's worded in such a way that you're just like, well, the parent was with him. Like, what's the trick, you know?
I mean, I think that riddle is, like, told to each of us by the time we hit high school or something
Well,
like
this is
that.
the first time I heard it though.
No way.
Yeah, well, I saw this movie in '96.
Oh, okay, maybe that makes sense,
I
maybe
was
that makes
9.
sense. There's also another there's a one of his friends during the it's the bet where Sims puts out the driving range and he's like, "What, bet with me with my 7 iron," and he shoots it down the road, right?
Yeah,
It's one of his friends yell, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner,"
yeah.
which is
that
like,
one's that one's been
yeah,
around.
that one's been around.
His friends are like a who's who of '90s that guys in
Yeah,
movies, and
yeah.
also the guy Boone that he beats for to pay for to get his clubs back. All those guys, like I've seen in like 1,000 things.
But tell me if this is not accurate. They are now mid 2010s guest stars TV show.
Well, for sure. I think you brought up, yeah, we were talking about one of them earlier.
Yeah, one of them's CSI. Well, he's a regular. He used to be a regular on CSI Miami. But then the other ones, I feel like you just like they're like psych guest stars or something like that.
So the Rene Russo meet cute is pretty good. It's also like this is a movie that is very romantic about golf. Like you can tell Kevin Costner like probably loves golf. Like the people who made this movie love golf.
Oh, sure, sure.
And I don't there's all these little details like a short follow through on his shot. The like you got to give the nod to the gods when you shoot, and then the thing that is really like if you've ever played because I play a little bit is he's like yeah it's a stupid sport but if you hit one good shot like it's all you need is to hit one good shot and it'll keep you coming back.
I could see that. I could see that. Although I did get quite annoyed with his like slipping metaphors into every fucking conversation he could and like comparing it to golf. I was like, all right, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
He likes golf. We we don't need the 56 metaphor. Oh my god, I'll tell you what. A vomit inducing scene is later on when they get together and they're having sex. Ugh.
Tee it
And
up,
they're
tee it
like,
up, tee it up,
tee it
Big
up,
Daddy.
tee it up. And I was like, and he's like, can I call
Besides,
him Mulligan? And I was like, can you please shut the fuck up?
besides the double entendres, I thought it was actually a pretty good sex scene for a comedy, like accomplishing what it meant to.
I don't know. When I first went into this movie, it said sexual content and nudity, and I didn't really see either.
Maybe you see like his butt a little bit or something. I don't know. I
Mm,
did
it's not the
like.
nudity that I wanted, but okay.
Well, just watch the Thomas Crown Affair for the nudity you want. I did like when she says "fucking shit." He goes "fuck shit." Highly technical golf terms. It was a
Yeah,
very
that was
funny
good.
line. So I think the next good scene we sort of already talked about is the him hitting that shot in the David Sims golf tournament, and he's like, and then the stuff back, he's like, "You're still a pussy," and he's like, "And you still think golf is about your testosterone count?" And then the guy betting him to do it, and him having to do it. It's such a cool scene, and I love Cheech afterwards. You'd bury yourself alive to prove you could handle the shovel.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's a good
yeah.
quote. There's a few parts that like frustrated me, but I liked it for the character development, which is one definitely was the argument that he and Cheech had where they kept snapping the golf clubs over their knee.
But I love that scene.
I like that scene. It frustrated me how I felt how easy it was for Cheech to come back.
And who is in the but the thing is, I also think Cheech is in the wrong there. I think most golfers would say that too, but I think just from a viewer standpoint, it's like you can tell him what to do, but you got to let him shoot it.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. But I think it was a lot of like friendship stuff building up over the years
But
too.
also too, like it does say a lot about Kevin Costner's character in this, that he's like he could let it go and be like, I understand it's out of like why he does it, like it's out of love. It's out of him caring about me. It's like I'm not gonna keep it. I'm not gonna be mad forever, and I need
Well,
him.
you could say like, and maybe this is what you mean by Cheech had a bigger character arc than than Tin Cup, but at the end where he kept asking, give me the ball," and he does. Romeo does keep giving him the ball, you know?
Well, so there's this after the bury yourself shovel line. He talks about he missed the tour by one shot because he kept trying to make this one shot instead of laying up, which becomes like the defining thing of this movie. It's the thing you remember the most, and it's like the way it's set up when the U.S. Open starts is amazing. We'll talk about when we get there. A
Well,
couple,
I kept waiting for like the character arc moment of Kevin Costner being like, "Okay, I'm going to finally listen and lay it up." And you almost get that scene. And then you have fucking Rene Russo on the sideline being like, rip it, give it all you got. And I'm like, bitch, are you serious right now?
well, I think you learn. You think she is like this sophisticated lady, and then you realize along the way it's like she took some community college classes and some online, like some correspondence school, and it's not like
She like slid by on getting her degree to become a therapist and then has to like move to like middle of nowhere West Texas to actually like practice
yeah.
therapy.
So my quibbles are: how did David Sims meet this woman? I guess his because his golf tournament is in this town or near this town. I find that a little preposterous.
What I find weird is her wanting to take golf lessons to what? Impress him?
And why wouldn't you take golf lessons from your PGA Tour pro boyfriend? Why are you
Uh-huh.
taking them from
Uh-huh.
someone? And which almost maybe that is the most asshole thing if he sent her to him. But still, how is he going to know? Like, oh, you're going to fall in love with my girlfriend? Because
Yeah,
even then,
but
Tin Cup is showing her how to swing, and he's like, "Hey, get your hands off my girlfriend's ass." But it's not like he's not like, hey, I don't know, he's a great guy.
did
How
it
could
ever
you not like him?
establish in the did it ever establish in the movie how long they were dating before she went to go get golf lessons from him?
It doesn't feel like very long.
It feels like a couple weeks, but at the same time, it's almost like they want us to believe that it's like it almost feels like they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, they're actually engaged."
I needed some, you know, for a movie that's too long, I needed Tin Cup to be like, "So how'd you 2 meet?" I needed an
Mm.
explanation, and I think the writer was
Well
like, "Fuck it."
well, they could have so easily because she mentions that she was a real estate agent beforehand, right?
Yeah.
So she could have, like, been showing him, like, rental properties or something, it's like, "Oh, we
Uh,
met doing
yeah, I don't
that."
think that timeline works.
I
I
can't
think
also imagine David Sims being type of guy who, like, tried going to therapy and meeting her there.
well, but it could just be he ran into her and he's the type of guy that's like, "I'm rich and famous, so I'll just shoot my shot out in the open," and she's the type of gal who's like, "Fuck it. Yeah, I'll go out with you."
Well, I mean, we kinda see that at the end where he goes for that blonde on the
Yeah.
sidelines, right? So that could have been, like, a her situation. There's also a really great quote from her to the stripper girl where she says something like, "Oh," the stripper's like, "Oh, he's a wild one, honey." And she says something like, "Oh, I've been going for, like, I need to go for the wild ones now," or something like that, or like, "Going for the calm ones was my problem before," some shit like that.
Yeah, this seems like a very, like, mutually destructive relationship that these 2 might embark
It does,
on.
and you're right because she comes off as the way she comes off, right? She's a doctor, she kind of like she's like, "So are you a feminist? Because I solved the riddle," and he's like, "That's not what
Never
people
been called
usually
that, but
call
hey,
me,"
I've never been called that. I've never been accused of that before.
and she comes off as very posh
Which
and
she wants
proper.
to. That is her attempt. That is what she's trying to do,
But then you realize, "Oh, wait, shit." She like, she kinda has shit taste in men,
clearly.
and it's, like, deserved almost? Like, she's as insane as the guy she goes for.
I do think they're a cute couple in the end, though. So,
They're
uh,
fine, they're fine.
and in the same way, like a prepubescent teen boy would be like, "I know how I'll get the girl. I'll show her my sports prowess." Tin Cup is like, "I will win her by winning the U.S. Open."
It's not really even winning the US Open, right? It's like, I will win her by beating the snot out of her boyfriend.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Once again, still like just teenage boy thoughts. And then he tells her he loves her, and he's like, "I'm acting from the heart." And she's like, "Well, this was a mistake. I wouldn't have said that if, you know, I knew you were talking about me." And
I
then she calls her therapist to be like, "Oh fuck. I fucked
it's a
up."
very weird scene. The only thing that I actually liked about that scene came out of that scene was that he goes into the wrong exit or the wrong entrance and he's in the patient exit room and that crying lady comes in and she's like bawling to the point where she comes in the room to check on her, gets surprised by Kevin Costner, and he's like, "I did not talk to her. I did not say anything to her. She just," and then as he leaves, he's like, "And
She's
she's
still in the
still crying."
she's still crying in the exit room. Yeah. So we get the qualifying with the club break, which is one of the most memorable scenes outside of like the end. And the bet, which is also another like really memorable scene. And then
The
Rene
Pelican
Russo
bet?
just agrees to with the Ray Russo the bet with David Sims about the car. It is funny
Oh, that
that
one,
the
yeah.
Rene Russo character agrees to drive his car so that he can drive the other car and take Tin Cup's car, and she wasn't like, "Oh, come on, just leave his car here." But I do find it funny when he goes back to Romeo and he's like, "Oh, I drained a 30-foot putt to qualify," and Romeo's like, "Oh, what? You didn't like Earl as your caddy?" He's like, "Oh, are you getting jealous?" Like they're almost like the true relationship of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another little bit they add in this, which is like unnecessary, but it's a cool detail. And I think if you love this movie, the 2 hour 15 minutes, it does fly by for me. Someone like as someone who like loves this movie and someone who like struggles right now to watch movies with my kid, like my kids being around. I watched this movie very easily. Like it was a very enjoyable watch and it went by quick. The Shanks thing is very funny, especially when it leads up to him getting to the US Open. He's like, "Put these coins over here, put this over this, do this and this, this and that." And he's like, "Okay." And then he hits the shot and he's like, "What? what, like, why did that work? He's like, oh, because you're so like, you're just thinking. You got to stop fucking thinking. Like you don't
Mm,
do well
yeah.
thinking.
I do
So
like all the golfer cameos at that scene where he's like, he's shanking it to the what is it, the right so hard that it's like hitting
yeah.
the feet and the asses of all the golfers.
By the way, the scene where he takes her to the river, also cut that. We don't need that.
Yep, I agree. I mean, honestly, like I and I don't say this often because usually when I watch a sports movie, I like the in between parts that aren't the sports playing parts more. And
But the best part of this movie is the
the best
sports.
part of this movie is the golf.
Yeah. It's absolutely the best part. Yeah, so
And I thought you could have started with the US Open thing where it's like David Sims comes over, he crosses him with being the caddy, and he's like, "You know what? I'm going to show you up and I'm going to beat you in the US Open." And then just go from there. You almost just need to just establish a rivalry between David and Roy, and you barely even need Rene Russo in there.
by the way, so Ron Shelton is the director of this. He's directed one other movie we've done, White Men Can't Jump, sports movie that is like the sports in it is pretty great. And then another one he's directed, which we will do, is Bull Durham,
Is that
which is also,
another Kevin Costner movie?
yeah, Kevin Costner, Tim Robbins, Susan Sarandon, and we will do that movie. That was actually one of the options instead of this, but
I was thinking last night, is there a movie? I might be fucking tripping out. Is there a movie where Will Smith is like a golfer and Shia LaBeouf is his caddy? Or am I like fucking like
so Shia LaBeouf is a golfer in The Greatest Game Ever Played. In The Legend of Bagger Vance, Matt Damon is a golfer and his caddy is Will Smith, and that movie's considered like undertones of racism because I think Will Smith's like a magical black guy character. I don't know if I can publicly say what that term is actually called, but anyway, so yeah, though you conflated those two movies.
but Will Smith and Shia LaBeouf were never in the same movie about golf.
I would watch that movie if it came out next year, though, for
Uh,
sure.
With like right now Will Smith and
Yes,
right
their
now
ages
Shia
currently.
LaBeouf.
Yes, right now.
Yeah, yeah, dude. That movie, that movie's never gonna get made.
Yeah, I would watch that in like the 4DX with the chairs moving. Like, give me all that. So we next get to the U.S. Open. There are 55 minutes left in this movie. 2 hour and 15-minute movie. There are 55 minutes left just for the golf tournament. And I gotta say, the way they do this golf tournament, the way they set up the ultimate part of this is so amazing. So first of all, he gets drunk after the getting like hitting the shots and shanking them. He gets him drunk the night before. Doesn't do well. He goes up to the first tee and is like, I'm going to play conservative. And it cuts to he shot an 83. Why? Because he played conservative. That's not how he plays. It doesn't work. And then we get him yelling at the old people. David Sims yelling at the old people. The golf shot at the bar. The guy announcing the golf shot, right, is Gary Player. Okay,
That's announcing it over the soda pot, the
yeah,
soda machine.
the guy who announces his shot off the porta potty, right? That's the
Yeah.
same guy.
Yep.
Gary McCord. Yeah, I got that confused. Not Gary McClare. Anyway, the guy with the handlebar mustache, Gary McCord. That is the real life Tin Cup. A lot of the stories are based off that guy. Specifically, the last scene hitting the golf shot. He shot a 16 on a hole doing that, where he wouldn't give up on the shot and like lay up.
I was wondering if this was based on a true story.
The Pelican story is also his, apparently, according to.
Well, that makes the fact that Cheech during the whole Pelican thing was like, "Can you shut the fuck up?"
He's like, "Can you shut that guy up?" He was also like the Costner's golf coach, for the movie too. So
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So the second round, he is about to he does set the record, right? And then on 18, he goes for it when he shouldn't. But he's able to save the par, sets the record. But that is just setting up the final hole for round 4, right? And then the third round, 18 in the water again, and he's like, "Hey, I want to hit it again." And Cheech is like, "No, what are you fucking crazy? Take your drop." And he's like, "Oh my god!" It like snaps him out of it. He's like, "You're right. What the fuck am I thinking? Like, you're
Can you
right."
do a good Cheech impression?
Go fuck
Can you
yourself.
try? It's
Not
like
publicly.
it's kind of like, hey, hey, man.
That was that was very good considering how like you could have delved into racism pretty quickly doing a Cheech impression. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Thanks.
But the I mean, the third round where he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. What the fuck am I thinking? Why am I fucking this up?" It's like such great foreshadowing for what's about to happen. And then when he's getting interviewed, he's like, "Why would you take that? It's such a low percentage shot." And he's like, "So am I." Which is like
Yeah, sure, okay.
the chills moment.
One thing that really bothered me is when he whiffed it into the forest and then he comes upon it and they're like, "Oh fuck, it's buried." I saw that shot land. That shot did not land buried.
Yeah, for it to have landed buried, you'd almost well, it could have yeah, no, it didn't really make sense in this scenario. So he doubles the first hole on the final round. We're in the final round. He's paired up with Sims, which is
You know
just
what'd be
great.
funny? I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of this. Like, it would be really funny if this movie was like made into a parody, and this was like putt putt. Like, can you imagine like someone like on the edge of like a tiny little river and like a pirate themed putt putt course, and they keep like sinking it into the river, like the tiny little 5-inch wide river, and he's like, "No man, I'm gonna shoot it from here," and keeps dropping the putt putt balls on the other side of the river.
We're gonna cut right here because that's such a good idea. We can't like publicly give it up. So the next thing I really want to talk
And
about
it's
is the
called Plastic Cup.
no, no, fuck you, no. Anyway, the next thing I really want to talk about is the shot where he has to hit it off the porta potty, and he to Gary McCord, "I bet you $50 I can get it." And he's like, "On the green?" He's like, "Yeah." He hits it. The ball, while a great shot, does not make it on the green.
Okay, thank you. I don't know
That
much.
is not the green that it makes it on.
I don't know much about golf, but I also know that that was not the green.
It got close, but it did
But
not like so I'm like, what
there's
do we
like
do?
there's like two levels of green, right? There's like the bright green that's like actual green, but then there's like that ring around the green that's like a bit of a
Called the
dark
fringe.
fringe.
I don't even think it made it to the fringe, honestly. I think it
It
made
did.
it
It
right
made it to the
before.
fringe.
Anyway. Well, no, there's the dark green and there's another anyway. It it was not on the green. That was not a green. But he pays
Also,
the $50 and then they announce it. He's like, "Oh, how did he get that on the green?" I was like, "Well, he didn't." So that's what was like he didn't.
there's a couple of inconsistencies for this movie that is not really bothersome to me, but I did catch them. One being is when he's golfing with those gardening tools,
Yeah.
right? What do you call that little? You call it a tee, the little white thing you put in the ground and you place the ball on it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know for a fact that like there are tools, right? People have tools to if you shoot the ball and you like mess up the tuff. There's
Yeah.
tools to like reset the tuff, right?
Create a divot, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking throwing gardening tools in the green. He's like sticking shovels in there. I'm like, you would be kicked out of that club so fast if they
Well,
ever
it is
caught you
kind of
for
a
that.
fuck you to this guy because that's his club.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He
Okay,
says, "Get the
okay.
at the end, he's like, "Get the fuck off my golf course."
And then the other thing is he's naming all the sponsors on his jacket, being like, "Hey, I'm not like an A plus golfer. Like I have sanitary sponsors." And he says Woody's Barbecue, but you can clearly see right on his chest it says Wally's, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that bothers me.
Well, but it's also it would be true to it would be true to the character to get it wrong. Now, I don't know if it was purposeful, but it would
But
make
you're
sense
telling
for
me
him
that
to get it
company
wrong.
spent money to like sponsor him, and he publicly gets the company's name wrong?
Well, they probably took some of their money back. They're
That's a
like,
big fuck
what the
you.
fuck, what the fuck, man?" Or that's just like some marketing opportunity afterwards. It's like, "We're actually Wally's. Come eat." So in the final round, we get to 18 and they introduce this character, Jakobsen. I think the whole point of that is because the movie is it's like, how do we end this movie on a win for Costner's character, but we don't want
Sure.
him to just win because that's just like such a like obvious ending. But you also can't have him win in a way that like you're actually have David Sims win the tournament, right? Like that would be impossible. So you introduce this Jakobsen character so
Yeah.
that he's the one who actually wins the tournament. And then you can also have David Sims lose because the dumbest decision, he lays up, no, like laying up, no, he knows he can't really win, right? Because so that'll his third shot will be going onto the green. I mean, second shot he lays up. So then his third, he's hitting on the green. He would have to hit it really close. I mean, I guess he could have, but it's still like it's making it a much less chance because he's chasing, right? And in actuality, the the only right decision for Kevin Costner is to lay up. And this is another reason, like the David Sims
That's
character is,
not the kind of man he is.
but it's another reason the David Sims character is not a bad guy is because a lot of times, so in the scene where he's like lay up and he's like, "Oh, you've always been a pussy," he's playing a scramble. His partner just went into the water. If he goes into the water, they're fucked on that hole. So he like legitimately has to lay up. Is his if his partner laid up, then he could have gone for it. So Costner actually fucked him on that hole by like getting in his partner's head and telling him to go for it, which is just hilarious.
You know, you have to have some sort of ego or something, dude, because I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could star in a golf movie where my character is announced in the movie as like better than Palmer, better than Daly, better than Jansen, right? Like the announcer's like, this record of golf has never been seen. And I'm just a fucking actor, and then these actual golf, like professional golf players, are on set, and like obviously it's in a movie, but I would feel so awkward being talked about, or my character being talked about in this way when the actual fucking people are on set.
You're right. Yeah, I mean that's
I
like there's a ton of sports movies like that.
I know, but like, isn't well, there's another golf movie that has a ton of professional golfers on. I think even Happy Gilmore had professional golfers on the set.
Well, two did for sure. I don't remember if one has a ton, but two a
But
ton.
Adam Sandler almost can kind of just do that though at his like stage in life.
Well, yeah, that's what Adam Sandler does though. Adam Sandler's like, let me create a movie that is also like a great time for me.
Well, yeah,
And
he's
honestly,
like, I'm gonna kiss the hottest girl.
who
Maybe
among
it's
us?
Jennifer Aniston, or maybe whatever, and then I'll just make my character just the coolest fucking most athletic dude ever.
Yeah. So Roy goes for it. And the way this is done is so amazing in that he ends up shooting a 12 by, if you get rid of all of his shots that went into the water, he essentially shoots an albatross or a double eagle, depending on who you talk to, which is like one of the most unlikely shots to make, like even above a.
Can you explain to me why does he keep why is he allowed to just keep shooting in that spot even though he's like when Cheech is like just take a what does he say? Take
So
a
there on that hole in on some holes, usually par threes, there are drop zones if you go in water. Like that is the designated spot you go. I do, so I'm not like really great on the rules. I know a lot. I watch a good amount of like golf content now. I thought the shot where he hit, if he landed it on the green and it rolled back in, because usually like where your ball goes in the water is where you can drop from when there's not a drop zone. So maybe because there's a drop zone, that's the way it works on this one. But like, so when his ball goes over, lands on the green, and then rolls back, I'm almost like, isn't he allowed to put it like right on the edge of the green and like chip or putt from there? But I think he is allowed to choose to drop it there in, because I mean it's based on the real story of Gary McCord, right? I think he's allowed to choose between dropping it there or dropping it in the drop zone. Because another rule with drops is you are allowed to drop it anywhere no closer than where it went in. So if like you have a bad lie, if you dropped it right behind the water, you could go back as many yards as you want in a straight line. So which is essentially what he's doing by continuing to drop it there.
and the way he drops it is that like a rule of golf too. Like you have to
I
drop
think
it
you're
from
supposed to
like
drop
your
it from your knee. You have to drop it from above your knee, like above or at your knee. So most of them get like
He's
a
dropping
bent.
it at shoulder length just to
Yeah, because
just to be in camera frame.
he's a fucking cowboy. But a lot of them will like bend their knee a little bit and like drop it, like try and get as low as they can to get a good lie. But I mean, yeah, he's just a dick measuring contest, like which he continually does. And then when he hits that one, and he's like, it's like such a fucking 90s sports moment. This is your last ball. If you don't make it, you're disqualified. And he nails that one. It is such a fucking great moment. And like he then takes the ball and throws it in the water. I was like, do you need that ball? But like all the guys jump in and get it. Like it's such a fucking like the way this US Open is done, the final sports bit of it is why I love this movie. And it's why this movie is amazing.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I also love Romeo's line too. He's like, "This is your last ball. If you don't make it, you're disqualified." And he's like, Kevin Costner said, "I can make it." And Romeo's response is, "Then quit fucking around." Because he's like,
Yeah.
he's gonna shoot this shot. I have to be with him. Like I have to motivate him instead of being like, "This is a bad idea." I need to be like, "Then fucking do it
Yeah.
if you can do it."
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, you see, this is also like the moment in a lot of sports movies, right, where you take the impossible shot or you throw the impossible touchdown, whatever. And no, I think this movie does it really well. I surprisingly liked this movie, especially in the second half. It was so slow to me in the first hour. It's like, what is this film? But also, would I watch this again? Probably not, to be honest with you.
I actually am more likely to. And it's kind of fucking sucks that HBO Max. I mean, hopefully now with the Paramount will start putting more of the stuff on, HBO, or I guess it'll be Paramount HBO. What the fuck are they going to name that
I don't
new
even
thing?
par I don't even want to say what I was going to say. So such a bad joke. The thing too, it's like Kevin Costner has so many sports movies.
Paramax.
Paramax. That sounds like a tampon company.
Well, it sounds like Parallax, but Paramax actually. Paramax.
MaxiPad?
Paramax HBO. HBO Paramax.
Well,
Mount
thanks
HBO.
for listening to another
Well, hold
episode.
on. I got a couple fun facts before we finish. One, apparently Kevin Costner was offered the Shooter McGavin role in Happy Gilmore. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read. And he turned it down to do this instead. I think that's a great choice for everyone involved. Kevin Costner's Shooter McGavin is a fun thing to think about.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Although the actor who does play Shooter is like so perfect for that role.
Oh, absolutely. And
Oh,
it's like
he could have
it's
played David Sims.
yeah, I do wonder what his range is, but I love him in
And then
also
Don
love him in
Johnson plays Shooter.
I also love him in Grind, which is a thing, the best news ever that you gave me today, that Grind 2 is happening.
I can't believe Grind 2 is happening. It's
I
like
can't either.
it's like waking up and finding out that like grandma's boys have
I
people.
but that's actually way more likely than a Grind 2. It's just the Happy Gilmore guys. Although one of them is like,
Removed?
persona non grata right now for some allegations. So your boy also did some research because at the end of this, he said, I just gave away the US Open. I should have laid up. And I was like, how much did he give up? For first place at the 1996 US Open, the purse was $425,000.
Oh.
For second place, it was 204. And for 15th place, because she said top 15, was 43,000. So he gave up quite a bit of money.
I thought he got second place.
No.
I guess I just didn't understand.
No, because he shot a 12. So him and Jakobsen were tied at 8 under. He shot a 12 on a par 5. So he is now only 1 under, 7 shots back from Jakobsen. And a bunch of other people had done better than that. He's lucky to be top 15 with that.
He's lucky that he didn't get disqualified.
Well, that too. But I mean, also, he knew he could make the shot. He just, maybe next time, make it on the first. If he made it, hold on. So that's his second shot. If he in the water, drop, fourth shot. If he had made that on his second, he would have won the tournament with a birdie if he had made it. Instead, he obviously took as many times as it did.
Is that all your fun facts?
I'm done with fun facts.
I have a pretty wholesome Arnold Palmer story. When I was a kid, I used to live on the golf course, and my house backed up to, I don't know which hole, but it backed up to the golf course. And what do you call, like, the it wasn't a and we used to play in the backyard, and sometimes, although we know we weren't supposed to, we were like ran out on the golf course hills and in the sand traps, and we used to play out there. And one time the security came in their golf carts and told us, like, get out, like, go away. And I don't know how word got around. Maybe he was playing that day and I don't know, something happened, but we kept playing outside, and we were on the other side of the property line of the golf course. But we were still outside. We kept playing outside. And who comes around in their golf cart but Arnold Palmer himself, with like three other guys, like I'm guessing like security guys or something.
Okay.
They come around, and my mom sees like these guys talking to her kids, right?
Yeah.
So my mom comes outside. She's like, who the fuck is talking to my kid? And it's Arnold Palmer. And he goes up to my mom and he's like, ma'am, I just want you to know that earlier today your kids got yelled at for playing on the golf course. And I just want to give you my sincerest apologies. Your kids are allowed to play in this part of the golf course anytime they want. And he got back in his golf cart and drove away.
I just wanted your mom to like yell at him before he could say it.
No, I mean, I have memories of just going to dinner at the club and him being there, and he's just like always been like a super nice guy. So, but that was one of the I thought that was pretty cool. He was just like, don't yell at a fucking bunch of kids, they're just having a good time. And he goes over there and he's like, you know what, fuck it.
You got those guys fired that day. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon, and I finally watched Tin Cup.